My name is Ford Suze. I'm 36 years old, and I'm starting over. My previous adventure was outward, living my dream of discovering India and sharing it with the world. But this new adventure is inward, facing my lifelong struggle with depression and finding renewed purpose. Join me on this new journey of self-discovery and personal reinvention, building a better me.
What's that thing, buddy?
It's a crab.
Yep.
He's not getting out.
Something ate him up.
He's dead.
He's dead.
Oh, poor crab. I'm sorry you died. Wonder what ate him up. Was it a sharp fish?
I don't think so. Maybe some kind of bird or something.
Birds can eat crabs.
As a kid, my dad and I liked to explore and to search for bugs and reptiles and amphibians, all kinds of stuff. I like climbing trees and finding butterflies, moths, spiders, you name it. So to kind of carry on the legacy, my dad and my son and I went out and we would just, experience nature, try to find some creatures. It was a real good exercise. It was just good to get outside, get my dad outside.
You gonna come see him? You want to hold the earwig?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
A lot of mosquitoes in this place. Thing's biting me through my Oh, what an awesome creature. Look at the size of that thing.
It is dead.
It's not dead.
Whoa.
All right, we got a good one here. Watch out for that ant. There's ants right there. You want to say hi to it? Go ahead.
Hi.
Dad would read while we looked for creatures. But gradually, Dad's health has deteriorated. Not long after we started doing this little exercise, Dad ended up with pneumonia. It really knocked him on his back. I visited Dad in the hospital, and he had this to say. So how does your lung feel?
It's somewhat better than, it still hurts, but it's, because even when I breathe, it hurts, but it's not as bad as it was.
Is it both lungs, or is it just
No, it's just my right lung.
Right lung. So, what did they say? It's pneumonia?
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
And then there's a blood infection that came from the pneumonia. Started from a congestive heart problem, and so the heart was being overworked and just drained all my strength.
And then, have you been diagnosed with emphysema, or is it
COPD?
COPD. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is one of the, I guess, warnings for the kids not to smoke.
Not to smoke. I remember John Wayne gave a speech before he died about smoking. So did Yul Brynner. They were both dying of lung cancer, and they were both lifelong smokers in the movies. And
they smoked like chimneys.
Yeah. And before they died, they did interviews, and admonishing kids not to start.
Right.
Yeah, and I would say the same thing. It's foolish. It's not cool. It costs money, and it's so harmful to your system.
Truly.
Yeah.
Okay, we're calling this episode Take a Deep Breath for a few reasons. First of all, our lungs are something we really tend to take for granted. We need air more than we need water, more than we need food.
Yeah.
Air is fundamental. Oxygen is fundamental.
That will kill you quicker.
And, just seeing Dad's example, what he's going through now as a result of, his lifestyle, a lot of it they didn't know about back then. They didn't, I'm sure they didn't think smoking was, I don't know. There were some people actually thought it was healthy, I think, at some point. So crazy what marketing can do.
But it was just so it was just so cultural back then.
Yeah.
You know, just like you said, everyone in the movies, everyone smoked like chimneys.
You gotta watch any of those film noirs from the 1940s, or even just rom-com. It kind of just makes you wonder what things we're doing now that we're gonna realize in 30 years. This is killing you. Like, is it the cell phones next to our ears? Are we all getting like
or is it
ear
my Diet
cancer?
Coke addiction?
Your diet, yeah, that'll work. So I never really was big into physical fitness. Were you in high school?
No, but my dad, my whole life, my father has exercised almost every day. And my sister, so I've grown up seeing her. She exercised almost every day. I have seen 2 people out of my family be good examples of a consistent exercise routine.
Well, and I'm more like...
And I never was that person.
I'm more like your brother-in-law, you know, her sister's husband, in that we both have this metabolism that just doesn't matter. I mean, we can eat, we do whatever. Like, he is skinny as a rail. I'm not skinny as a rail, but sometimes I'll just forget to eat. Like, so it just doesn't matter.
He can just go. He'll just charge on through. I have no problem forgetting to eat. I must eat multiple times a day. Oh, he'll just keep going, keep going, keep going.
So, like, this never been on my radar, going to gyms. Like, that was never a gym rat. I surfed in high school, and the surf around here is, like, so intermittent that you didn't even really get to surf that much. But it was enough that I didn't care about other physical activity. I didn't play team sports until I got to India, because I was there for 4 years without surfing, landlocked. The only thing I did was walk, and that was good, you know, exercise. I did start to feel this gap in my soul, you know. I was just like, I need something. And it was about that time Shilpi Agarwal of Ohm Books International set us up to do a video review of the Transformer book launch by Chris Geffen. So Chris Geffen wrote this book about his journey trying to become a bodybuilder and win bodybuilding competitions from England to America to India and beyond. It was cross-cultural. It was constructive. He was great. You know, really hit it off with him when we did our interview.
But number one, you know, if the body is stagnant, when does it get to release its endorphins? It doesn't. So those endorphins are feel-good hormones that people can sometimes get as a quick fix from chocolate, but then they deal with the guilt after it. But now we're addicted to actually working out. And guess what that byproduct is? We feel better. We have a better blood flow to our brain. So now we can be up to potentially 20% smarter, and we're going to have more confidence about ourselves. Confidence kills depression.
So I was inspired as I read that book, because here's a guy that kept getting second place in all these bodybuilding competitions. It seemed like he won it. Like, it was always like they seemed like, oh man, you're gonna win, and he wouldn't. But he just kept going. He just kept coming back. He didn't blame the system. He didn't say, oh, they're cheating. He just went back to the drawing board and kept going, and that really like kicked me in the butt. So he was like, Chris Geffen was my drill instructor. You know, you got a dream, then you need to push through. You need to find out what you're doing wrong. Don't blame YouTube. Don't blame the man. Don't blame the government. Don't blame whatever. Find out what you're doing wrong. And then there was something else Anil Kapoor said in that book launch. He said this.
It's not how I look only, or how I physically transform myself. For me, how I feel. For me, the feeling is very important.
And, you know, Anil Kapoor doesn't look like a bastion of bodybuilding strength or anything, but he's in good shape. He wasn't always in that good a shape, I don't think. And so, I mean, he's lost weight. He's, you know, toned up. But he wasn't doing it for the look. He was doing it, as he said, for the feel. And that's when a light bulb went off for me, because I realized that for someone dealing with mental health issues, the feel is really important, you know. And there's so many of us who struggle with this stuff. We spend almost all of our time right here. We spend so much time inside, and there's this push to remain inside, just to curl up into a little ball, you know. That's actually the worst thing for someone dealing with this stuff. We need to get outside, and we need to exercise. That was true for me in India. What really helped me in my cross-cultural stress was more cross-cultural stress, more
getting
going out
into the culture,
more rubbing shoulders in the markets, you know, more going to festivals. And then I would meet somebody and we would hit it off and it would be good, you know. But for that introverted side of me, I don't want to do that. I just want to run the other way. For the depressed side of me, I didn't want physical activity. But coming back to America, I realized the gym was not the place where I would find my niche. You know,
right? It worked in India. You know, that Geffen inspired us to do his 12-week program and to go to the gym and do it, and that worked at that time for us. But now, this is what really works for him. This is what Ford was birthed to do as an exercise program.
As the surfing violinist. So, lo and behold, the weirdest thing, there's Laird Hamilton. It's one of the best surfers in the world, big wave surfers in the world. if you're at all familiar with the world of surfing, you will know Laird Hamilton. He was the villain in the classic surf movie North Shore.
Check it out, guys.
Dude, I love this movie. I don't care. It's super cheese. It's
a cult classic.
Dumb, but it's good. Okay, it's a good movie.
So dumb, it's good.
But it's good. It's like it's got the Goonies flair. It's kind of self-aware. It's a good movie. Whatever. Endearing. It's good. So anyways, Laird Hamilton's in that movie as the villain. But it just so turns out we have in Panama City a doctor who helped pioneer an exercise routine that with Laird Hamilton. And he's living in Panama City now rather than living in Hawaii and working with Laird anymore. He's here teaching a bunch of plebeians on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, there's like a flyer in one of our favorite restaurants about this camp. And so the restaurant owners are telling Ford that he should do it. Like, what? It's this we called it the Waterman workout.
Yeah.
Before going to India, Ford was doing this with a friend Josh. And who else would do it with you?
Harry Herrick.
And Harry, so they would do this.
Andy.
They had kind of made up this Waterman workout, and they'd taken some different things from dive training and other
Coast Guard.
Yeah.
So what we heard,
put it together to make this Waterman workout.
And well, these people are doing this legit.
This is the real Waterman workout, Vitality Pro.
You get weights, you go underwater, you do stuff like this. I thought I was kind of the man with this Waterman workout stuff. And then I met these guys. These guys are nuts.
So what's going to happen today is you're going to get an ice bath for 60 seconds. It makes you want to hyperventilate, breathe fast. It makes you also want to blow. And what we're going to do is we're going to be counting it out where you get one breath per 10 seconds. With that cold water, there's no way you put weights on the lungs themselves. You can't lift weights with lungs. So we're using resistance training because we know that it's hard to control your breathing in a cold ice bath.
This is the part I'm dreading. I'm just never ready for these ice baths.
Okay, I cannot express to you how good this felt, actually, diving into the water after being in that ice bath. Apparently, it causes this thing to happen when you get in really, really cold temperatures. It increases something called the mammalian dive reflex. And after that, you can hold your breath for this ridiculous amount of time. It's this weird thing, like when you force yourself to go through the pain terror of extreme cold. When you get on the other side of it, it's very relaxing.
Man, that actually feels good.
So these psychopaths developed a workout routine they call the 6-leg. And what you do is you put some weights underwater, and you have to take the weights across the bottom of the pool to another little station, and you go crisscross back and forth, alternating between carrying weights and swimming, and you can only do it on one breath. And you're supposed to make 6 of these legs. So it's a total of like, 120, 150 feet underwater, but a lot of that time you're walking. So at full, it'll be about a minute. Now, they taught us to do these breathing exercises in which I got to the point where I could hold my breath for 2.5 minutes above water, which I never thought I was even possible to do. When you're under duress and, in
the water, you're under the water, you feel the stress under duress.
Under the water, feeling duress. Under the water, feeling the stress. It really sucks now. Give me some air now.
There you go. We made the new Vitality Pro song. Here, Dr. Frank, we made a song for you.
There's another element of taking a deep breath that I realized was important this year when I lost my temper with one of my bosses, who were still good friends. He's willing to hire me again for the next season, so at least that bridge didn't burn. But I snapped on him one time, and my buddy Blake, I was like, I said something like, I just need to take a deep breath, like, and count to 5. And he said, Ford, there's no counting to 5 with you. You're already, like, before taking the breath, you've already used the last breath to start yelling. And so it's impossible to stop. Never mind, there he goes. So the importance of taking a deep breath cannot be overstated. I mean, it applies to so many different things. Maybe you're a hothead like me. So I took my first deep breath with the 6th leg. I only made it halfway through. I think I got 3 or 4. So what you're about to see is that attempt. We have to take this one step at a time, but we can't just sit and wait for depression or anxiety or addiction to slowly eat away at us and wear us down. Find some people around you who will get you out of yourself. Find some adventure nearby that catches your eye and dive in. Wherever we are in this world, there are fantastic adventures and interesting people waiting for us just around the corner. It just takes that first step, that first breath. So take a deep breath and venture out there and find something new. This is Ford Suze, the surfing violinist. I've only taken one small step in the direction of building a better me. It's certainly no giant leap for mankind, but maybe we could all do with a bit more modest ambitions. Maybe for now, small steps and deep breaths are what we really need. Until next time, stay strong, stay glorious, and if you're having a hard time doing either of those, just keep going until you can as we try to help one another build a better me.